We are all familiar with the leaders of the Greenskins known as war bosses. These monstrous Xenos tower over the battlefield, smashing their way through infantry lines and destroying tanks with the flick of their power claw. There is no doubt that these Greenskins are some of the most fearsome creatures in the galaxy, and yet I feel like they aren't the most dangerous. The most dangerous Ork leaders, in my opinion, are the freebooter captains. While maybe not as large as most war bosses, what these odd boys lack in strength they make up for in their cunning. Ork captains are savvy pirates that pillage and plunder the galaxy with a crew of sadistic and bloodthirsty killers that are way more bizarre than the average Ork boy. And the history of these captains and their crews are just as outlandish as their appearance and character. One of the most famous of these greenskins is Freebooter Kaptain Bluddflagg. And with that said, I want to welcome you guys back to another 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to be talking about Freebooter Kaptain Bluddflagg of the Dawn of War 2 series. That amazing, awesome video game that we all remember and love. If you guys are new to the channel, we post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. What I try to do is I create a video with a lore portion in the beginning, a hobby portion, so like a painting tutorial, terrain tutorial, or some type of showcase video, and then a Q&A section at the end. So if you guys have any suggestions or questions, whether it's about Bluddflagg or any other topic of 40K, just comment down in the comments section below. And if you guys enjoy these types of videos, hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on Freebooter Kaptain Bluddflagg. Before the events of the Third Aurelian Crusade, Kaptain Bluddflagg had already made a name for himself as both a tool of and a threat to the petty imperial nobles of the sector, gladly offering his service to the highest bidder. At the start of the Third Aurelian Crusade, Bluddflagg's void ship had crashed upon the jungle-covered feral world of Typhon in the land and swamplands. His head aching, the captain and his first mate had barely roused themselves when they were set upon by Eldar. Believing them to be responsible for the destruction of their ship, the Orcs sought to hunt them down, while also keeping an eye open for any other surviving members of their crew. Upon tearing through the Eldar patrol, the captain found young Master Spookums. Giving him a rousing kick, the captain found his fellow officer alive, which he was glad at, though he was injured slightly and in possession of poor equipment. After chewing him out for getting destroyed by those pansy Eldar, the captain had Spookums upgrade his armor to prepare for the rest of what would be decisively a long adventure, and just in time, as the Eldar ambush quickly assaulted the gathered Orcs. After defeating the Eldar, the Orcs continued their trek through the jungle, acquiring a small handful of bases to call in extra troops and bring in the local Orcs under Bluddflagg's command. They simultaneously killed the Eldar and wrecked their bases, before finally confronting the Eldar leader, their commander, Ork Kaptain of the craftworld Alatok. While she put up what the Greenskins considered a decent fight, she and her Eldar were ultimately slaughtered by the Orcs. Right before she died, she hinted that darker times lay ahead for Typhon and the rest of the subsector. Kaptain Bluddflagg didn't give a fuck, and his boot stump went straight through her head. In truth, the problem had only just begun for the Orcs. They found themselves surrounded by forces under the command of the Inquisitor from the Ordo Hereticus, Adrestia. She came to the Greenskins with a business proposition: help hunt down the rogue space marine known as Chapter Master Azaria Kairos of the Blood Ravens, and in exchange she would grant the Ork freebooter 3 Imperial Guard regiments and a combat area of his choosing to fight them, no strings attached. The deal was almost set, but Bluddflagg demanded one more thing: the Inquisitor's hat. The Inquisitor looked at him and refused. The deal was broken. But then, as the Inquisitor left, she made it clear that the Eldar were not responsible for Captain's ships crashing. Bluddflagg quickly figured that the humans were responsible and took up the contract, promising that the Inquisitor would rue the day that she heard his name. Returning to their base and reuniting with the rest of the lads, they tried to calm their leader's bloodlust. Killing Space Marines was no easy task, and the Chapter Master was the worst of the lot. Knowing all too well that the Inquisitor could not be trusted, Bluddflagg came to the realization that they were all in the same boat, and the coming days would be fraught with perils, confusions, and trials unending. Back on Typhon, in the Landon Temple ruins, a band of Imperial Guards had abandoned all hope in the Emperor and had fallen to the corruption of chaos. While Bluddflagg cared little of the allegiances of the humans, he did have a problem with the Guardsmen, for they were blocking the pathway to his teleporters. With them gone, the plundering would be way easier. The new planet for conquest would soon be accessed by the Greenskin pirates. At the temple ruins, the Orcs were quick to encounter the traitor guard, and just as quick to kill them. Heading due south, the Orcs found that these particular guardsmen possessed potent firepower, an Imperial Baneblade by the name of Beamblade. The tank quickly set upon them, forcing the orcs into a retreat. Unfortunately, in the confusion, one of his officers, Nailbrain, was knocked out, and the path to reach him was destroyed by the super heavy tank. Unwilling to leave one of his officers behind, Bluddflagg turned to save him, destroying some targeting cognitators, which sent the traitor guardsman's turrets into a haywire frenzy. But what wasn't destroyed was Beamblade and its crazed driver, who proved unrelenting in their hunt for the orcs. To stay alive, the green-skinned pirates had to keep moving. Thankfully, reinforcements were soon found nearby the ruins. Of course, the traitor guardsmen were not fully defeated and possessed a large number of sentinels, but Bluddflagg and his crew proved capable of destroying them and avoiding another devastating assault by the super heavy tank. Fortunes would soon improve for the orcs upon discovering an abandoned orc banner, which would bring many more green-skinned pirates to Bluddflagg's crew. Unfortunately, the sudden return of Beamblade unleashed yet another assault upon the orc pirates at the hands of the traitor guardsmen. However, the super heavy tank driver failed to realize that he had parked right behind Imperial turrets that could easily be rewired. Slipping around the massive Imperial vehicle while the orcs kept it busy, Bluddflagg and his boys wrecked one of the final cognitators, turning the turret against the tank and finally ending the threat. The orcs' teleporter was soon found. Unfortunately, there was a lack of test subjects, so the officers had to test it out. Thankfully, it worked. There was no limbs that were lost, no damage was incurred, and no deaths were required to get it operational. Even better, the teleporter would allow the Greenskins to move from Typhon to a new target planet, the desert world of Calderis. However, an intercepted transmission from a group of Space Marines made it clear that the local settlement was to be destroyed. Seeing no sense in the destruction of the planet without a reward, Bluddflagg took it upon himself to stop the Space Marines from destroying the population of Calderis so that he could rob them. Venturing through the Aurelian subsector, Bluddflagg and his crew eventually made their way to the additional teleporters that were scattered across the region. They happily battled traitor guardsmen, orcs of the Bad Moon clan, loyalist Space Marines, and Chaos Space Marines. Bluddflagg and his crew searched for Kyrus across the subsector until they eventually discovered him back on Typhon. Before getting to him, though, Bluddflagg was ambushed by the Elder of Aelitoke, who failed to kill him and had their Seer Council eliminated. When he finally found Kyrus, Bluddflagg learned that the Eldar that he had just killed were stopping the Imperial Inquisition fleet from performing exterminatus upon the planet. But now that they were gone, the Imperial warships entered orbit and started the process of destroying the entire world. Bluddflagg and his crew made their way across the ruined Typhon, battling demons, rival orcs, and feral Tyranids, even defeating a powerful Chaos champion, and finally managing to escape the planet via teleporter, which sent him and his crew to the Space Hulk known as the Judgment of Carrion. Impressed by the sheer size of the Space Hulk, Bluddflagg decided to make it his new kill cruiser and leave the subsector. But first, he would have to kill Kyrus. Fighting his way through the Tyranids and the orcs under the command of the crazed mech boy simply known as the Mad Mech, Bluddflagg found a labor engine in the Space Hulk, which contained valuable loot for him. Deducing that Kyrus would more than likely be on the exterminated planet of Kyrene, due to it being a place that they already daked before, Bluddflagg and his crew got their hands on a powerful battle wagon and did in fact defeat Kyrus' forces on the planet. However, the corrupted Chaos Master would then start his ascension to become a Demon Prince, and if not stopped in time, he would sacrifice the entire subsector to Khorne. Bluddflagg's freebooters charged through the battlefield, fighting the legions of Chaos and witnessing the death of Gabriel Angelo. Bluddflagg and his boys eventually battled the Demon Prince himself, weakening him enough for Kyrus to be knocked down by the Greenskin assault. Bluddflagg then ordered a rock bombardment, which destroyed Kyrus and saved the entire subsector. After the defeat of the Chaos forces, Bluddflagg was ready to claim his prize. He went looking for the Inquisitor Adrestia, but instead of killing her, he merely tossed her aside and stole her hat. With the reward on his head, he took the Judgment of Carrion, his new kill cruiser, and teleported away. Now that we know the lore to Captain Bluddflagg, let's get into answering some questions. I keep wanting to say Bloodfang, and I might have said it Bloodfang in a couple of spots within the video, so I'm sorry ahead of time. But anyways, these are the questions. This one comes from Edward. Can you make more parallels between weaponries of different factions? Plus, is there something the Imperium does better? That's a really good concept, and I really like that idea. I'm going to create a video next week with that concept. Now, as far as like something that the Imperium does better, I think genetically modifying their children to turn them into super warriors is definitely up there. I think they're the only faction within 40K that does that, like to a proper Like, it doesn't mess up the children. Like, they become Space Marines. Space Marines are pretty badass. But if you don't want to take Space Marines as a weapon of the Imperium, then I guess Titans. Titans are really good. They're not as stable as like Eldar or Necron constructs, but they're still pretty strong. It's tough though. It's tough with the Imperium just because everything I feel like is seeped in mystery because it comes from the dark age of technology. But yeah, good question though. Next one comes from Conan Holmes. Can you do a collaboration with Bridget B and have her do a For the Greater Wa episode? I like where you're thinking. Having her answer questions, I think, would be funny, and it would be cool if we find out she's a huge 40K fan. Oh, you took this in a completely different direction. I thought we were gonna have to put this on like OnlyFans or something. I don't know if she would listen. I mean, we could reach out and see if she's interested. I know she was surprised that she has a lot of UK fans, and since like our second largest demographic on the channel is people from the UK, obviously, because it's Warhammer. I would say that I like to give myself credit for introducing you UK viewers to Bridget B. Yeah, I mean, I can reach out, see what happens. Like you said, it would just be funny even if she's just on for like 5 minutes or something. But the next question comes from the big one. If there was a 100-meter race between Usain Bolt and a Space Marine, who would win? The Space Marine. Just because, like, the Space Marine would just destroy Usain Bolt, killing him. Yeah, that's how he would win. Berserker046 says, "What is the most populated planet in the galaxy? Congrats for your dedication. Thanks. The most populated planet in the galaxy definitely has to be Terra, just because that is like the focal point of the Imperium. You have pilgrims, you have people that have been living there for years. You have the High Lords of Terra. You have the Senatorum Imperialis. You have like everything is on Terra. So, yeah, definitely think Terra would be up there. And then, I mean, secondary would be probably like, I was going to say Bauer or McCrag, but not even. Yeah, Terra. I'll stick with Terra. Then there is another question by Ben Morton. Dreadnoughts versus Imperial Knights, who would win? That's a really good question. If it's up close, Dreadnoughts. If it's distance, Imperial Knights. So it's like one of those, like, I forget what the Discovery Channel show was called, but like when they would put two warriors up against each other, like maybe it's just like warrior battles or something like that. But like it would be statistically out of 1,000 battles, the samurai would win 60% from the Spartan or whatever. And I think like the Dreadnought for the most part would lose. Imperial Knights have range, and most scenarios the range really does help. So yeah. And Sapper12B says, "What the fuck is AMC? I reference to it a lot." So AMC is like the stock that's going like so. So AMC is a movie theater chain in the U.S. and right now, there is a lot of like hype around investing in AMC stock, like on Robinhood or Webull or like anything like that, because there's supposedly a short squeeze coming. A bunch of people have been betting that AMC is going to go down, and so then a lot of people from Wall Street Bets on Reddit were like, "Fuck you guys, it's going up." So they've been investing, and now in the beginning it was like nothing because it's like a bunch of retail investors isn't really much, but now I think big hedge funds are getting in on it. So hedge funds are screwing over other hedge funds, which is benefiting the regular retail investor. And right now, it's just really good time to collect some tendies, I guess. But like I said, not really, just because, well, yes and no. I wouldn't say buy in now unless something crazy is happening on Friday. I mean, I'm recording this during a time when AMC is at $50. It was at $75. It has dropped down to $50, like I said in the beginning of the video. But it's this whole like thing. Check out the YouTube channel Trey Trades. He will guide you through everything. There's another guide too. Yeah, no. But yeah. And those were the questions. If you guys have more questions, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate signing out.